Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Thursday, November 17th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is my turn to talk. And everyone watching over on any other streaming platform, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you. And to all my participants and regulars and newcomers and visitors on Podbean, welcome. And welcome to Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Welcome. You're number 1 today. Blunt Ninja, number 2. Daddy Hoff, you are number 3. Hey, Frankie. You're number 4 today. They beat you. Brina, hey, how are you? Welcome. Today is Thursday, and Thursday are usually my fun topics, and I hope I pick one out today that's fun. And after the music plays, I'm going to make a little announcement about last Thursday's show. But welcome. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Southern California. Last Thursday was great, Brina. I'm already in talks to have her come back. And I hope you guys were able to check out the interview that I did with DJ Karma Camille on my new pre-recorded show that is on YouTube. I Am My Own Story. I'm talking to some of everyone. And the good, the bad, and the ugly truths. I'm happy to see you. If I recall, you're from Mimi's show. Is that correct? Is that where I know you from? Yes. I'm like, I know that name. Hey, Minnesota, how are you? Welcome. Okay, and I'm going to get started. So again, this is supposed to be a lighthearted show. We'll see how it goes. Thursdays are my lighthearted shows, but I want to talk about last Thursday. So I really enjoyed last Thursday's show. I did an all music show. Enjoyed DJ Karma Camille so much. I hope you guys follow her over on TikTok. I have not published the show because for copyright reasons, I've listened to the show like 4 times. I am enjoying listening to the playback of the show, and I also like the fact that she did the question and answer at the end. I am going to publish the show tonight. I'm going to publish it for 24 hours only, and then I'm going to take it down. So I probably won't publish it until after 5 o'clock Pacific time. Probably won't be until around 5 or 6 o'clock Pacific time, but I'm only going to publish it for 24 hours because Podbean will probably, take it down. Anyway, I'm not going to publish it on YouTube at all, again, because of the copyright with the music, but I want you guys to have an opportunity to listen to it again, and those who have not heard it, for you guys to listen to it. So hopefully you guys will be able to listen to it if you choose to. Hey, Sean, welcome. So that's my announcement for that. And I'm going to get started with this show. So, children who whine. Do parents create them? And why are children whiners? Okay, I'm going to start off by saying, and y'all probably going to know what I'm going to say, those who know me. I cannot stand a whiny child. I did not raise a whiny child. I was not a whiny child. I cannot. Whiny children, anyway. And why are some children whiners? Now, I don't mean whiny like, you know, they hurt themselves, or something like that. And, but I'm just talking about why I want this, I want that, or if you tell them no, or constantly just always want their own way. And if they don't get it, they just whine. And I truly believe that children who were whiners turn into adults who complain. Now, do you guys think that I'm wrong on that? If they're not, and Blunt Ninja says, I can't stand whining. Rena says, Sean, it is you. I wasn't sure. Nice to see you. Okay, so you guys are saying hello to each other. Okay, Blunt Ninja says, I agree. Okay, because I think children who whine, if they're not checked, and you have some parents who I don't want to say who give their children everything, but people who don't. I don't know if you want to say they're permissive. They're permissive, but if you don't check your child when they're little, they're gonna turn into monsters when they get older. And they're gonna be that kid who goes to school who's always complaining, always whining about something. They're gonna go to high school, always wanting their way. Hey, Angie, welcome. Always wanting their way. Possibly could get their behind kicked, beat, however you all want to say it, by other schoolmates, whatever. And when they grow up, they just turn out to be people that you don't want to be around because their whining turns into complaining, but you still have adults who whine. And I know y'all know who I'm talking about. I know y'all know people or know of people who are adults who whine. So that's my opening. So does anybody want to pop up or anything or push back on me? I mean, why do children whine? I something told me the good and the bad was gonna come up. hey, good. What's up?
Told you I was gonna call up.
I had a feeling you were from where you were on Mimi's show. I had a feeling. So go ahead. Welcome. Hey, Shelby, and hold on for a second. Welcome, Shelby, and welcome, Bolton Elizabeth. Welcome. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Good.
Yeah, hello, welcome. I said welcome. Hello, everybody. Yes, and welcome to Solid Blues Show. I'm your guest host, speaker, the good. Nah, I'm just doing too much. I'm just joking. But I'm at work. But it's just amazing that I seen your um podcast pop up in my notifications. I was like, oh, Solid Blues going on. I didn't know she had a show. Let
I've
me
had a
check it
show for
out.
2 years.
Oh my goodness, I am so.
Okay,
You
that's
you
okay.
had to throw that in there. I've
I
been
had
on here
to.
for 2 years. Where you been? But yeah, I don't know if Mimi didn't go on this week or I just missed it. I don't know. I just tried to check, but I didn't really see anybody else. Anyways, um, children that whine. So what? So what? Solid Blue. What if they do whine? What's wrong? So what? Let them whine.
You know what?
Dang.
And you know,
So what? I'm just
but
joking.
you know what? Good. And so what if they do? Just don't do it around me.
No, let them do it around you. No, forget
Mm-mm.
that. Just let them do it. What you
Mm-mm.
gonna do? What you gonna do if they
Mm-mm.
whine around
Mm-mm.
you?
Mm-mm.
What you gonna
Mm-mm.
do? What you gonna do
I will
if they whine around
I will literally tell them to stop whining. Um, okay, let me ask this for people
you?
who were for people or parents who ever um, were chaperones on field trips, and you know how the teacher says, okay, you're going to have this group, you're going to have that group. When before my son was homeschooled, I literally told the teacher the kids that I did not want in my group because those kids were whiners, and I didn't get them. I cannot put up with a whiny child. I cannot put up with a whiny child. And I also think this, and you guys are probably going to push back on me on this. I also think that people who give their kids pacifiers tend to have kids more so that whine than kids that did not have them. I believe that. So
Okay, yeah, that may be some truth to that. That may be some truth to that because back to what you were saying a little earlier. I believe that it does come from the parents. Now, we pacify our kids a lot, whether we know it or not, and we are creating that. It starts when they're a baby. Now we pacify them because they're crying, and we don't want to hear the crying, or we don't necessarily know what's wrong, and we might try a few things, but the crying persists. Go ahead. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm at work. I'm driving around, and and so we'll throw the pacifier in their mouth, like you said. Um, and a lot of times we'll use these quote unquote pacifiers um, more often than we should. Those are just supposed to be temporary things. Pacifiers when the baby's teething, or they have purposes, but it's not supposed to be like I don't think, and if somebody's doing this, I'm not, you know,
okay, you are dropping off the. Okay, he muted himself. Okay, so Brian says solid. I like your style. And I'm not talking about kids who whine because they need something, they're hurt, they're hungry, or something like that. I'm talking about kids that whine because I want this, I want a cookie. No, I want, but I want it. Or they're not getting their way and they just constantly whine. And I am so happy that I did not raise a whiny child. I guys, I'm sorry, but let's see. I'm looking at my notes jumped here. Okay, Brina says I've been a chaperone a few times and didn't know you could request no whiners. Let's see. And Shelby says, I cannot stand a whiner either. You go to birthday parties. And I would take my son to birthday parties, and the birthday child, which is, I've been to birthday parties where the guest of honor was just a whiner, and I'm looking at this kid like, seriously? And my son would look at me and say, Mom, can we go? And we would make an excuse and we would leave. It's like, yes, we would leave the gift and everything, but why do some parents allow their children to whine? Because I truly believe that if you don't check that, you are going to have a child that is going to be a complainer when they get older. So, do you all agree with that? And Shelby, I'm glad you were able to make it. That is the question of all questions. Seriously, come on, guys. To go someplace, like, even if you're sitting in church or if you're sitting, in a movie theater, especially when you are in a movie theater and you have those parents who have their children and they just let them whine. They don't take them out. They don't say anything to them. They just let them whine. Is it the fact that the parent is just so beaten down at that time that they just say, forget it, I just don't want to deal with this right now, and they just let them do it? Are they just to the point where they hear their child whine so much that they're just used to it and they just tune it out? Just like you have those people who have those dogs that bark all night long. Your neighbors can't stand it, but the owner does nothing. Is it the fact that you're so used to it that you just you don't hear it? Okay, Shelby says, "Oh no, my kids did not whine. I was not having that mess." Okay, and Brina says, "I agree with that." I mean, seriously, you know, I, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. And Brina, and to go back, to the whole um, field trip thing and being a chaperone. I mean, I remember this one girl from my son's uh, fourth grade class. And that girl, she whined about everything, everything, everything. Hey, Typho, welcome. Everything. Noon, welcome to you too. Um, you know, and literally, she's like hanging around my son. So they would hang out on the playground together. But when we went on field trips, I was like, I don't want her in my group. And her mother wanted her in my group because I was one of those parents that actually watched the children who were in my group. I was actually, paying attention to them and keeping an eye on them. I was one of those parents. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, no, and the mother was like, why? She really wants to be in your group and she really wants to, hang out with your son, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, mm-mm. And I told her, your daughter whines. And she goes, well, I know, but could you just, no, let her let another parent deal with it. So again, let's see, yin and yang, the whiner and the non-whiner. Yes, yes, yes. And then I would ask my son when we would drive home, or if she came up in conversation, I was like, why do you like hanging around her? And he's like, well, Mom, I like her when she doesn't whine. And I said, well, what do you do? He says, I just walk away. Now this is a kid that's in, third, fourth grade. I just walk away. And I'm like, okay. So good. You wanted to say something?
Oh, I cut off?
Yeah, you did. I mean, you are on mute. I thought you muted yourself. You've been muted for
How long was I muted for? What did you hear?
5 minutes. Have you been talking this whole time?
I've been talking for 5 minutes. Oh my goodness!
Sean's laughing. You have been muted. You must have muted because I even said he must have, because you said you were at work, and then I said something and asked you a question, then you just cut off, and I thought you muted yourself because you were at work.
Good. All right, that's cool. That's fine.
Everybody's laughing at you.
Don't be laughing at me. I'm gonna start whining and complaining. Don't y'all do that to me.
And I'll have to
tell my mom.
And I have to kick you out.
My mom.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. But no, what I was saying.
What were some of the things that you were saying? Hey, welcome.
Yes, what was the last thing you heard?
I don't even remember.
I was at work.
I don't even remember.
Okay. Well, I basically said that yes, we pacify our children. We start this as early as they're, the baby. I just gave the analogy of my puppy. My puppy, he's a puppy. Sometimes we look at him and be like, oh, it's so cute, and I don't want to. They're whining. Let me just, give them, let me give them a pacifier. I don't know what they want, but let me put this pacifier in his mouth. Then it gets to the point, okay, they're whining too much. They're crying. I don't want to hear it. Here, take the pacifier. Instead of trying to figure out what they want or what the problem is, we just pacify them. And then it goes over into their toddler years. I've seen toddlers 2 and 3 and 4 years old with pacifiers, and I'm like, wait, this doesn't look right. But with my dog, I know he's he's still a puppy. He's still a baby in a sense. So he's always barking and whining, and I don't know if y'all know about I have a Shih Tzu, and Shih Tzus have the most whiniest bark ever. And I'm like, and other people with Shih Tzus confirm this. It's like Shih Tzus have a whiny bark, and he does. And so I'm trying to tell my sister and my niece, my nephew, look, it's time for bed. Put him in his cage. He's going to whine. He's going to bark. You can't go back there. Let him do that. You know what I'm saying? So we're training him that he can't just whine and bark and get what he wants. So, but what will they do? Oh, he's whining. Let me go back there and let him out. Let me go and cuddle with him. And I'm like, y'all are messing. I was like, I'm not gonna help y'all. I'm not gonna help y'all train the dog because he's just gonna, you know, just whine and y'all gonna come to his rescue.
I mean, so you're comparing a puppy. You're comparing a puppy to
To a baby,
a
yes,
child.
because it's the same. It's the same thing.
No, you are absolutely right. I have three dogs. I've never had an issue with them with the whole whining thing. I have one of them is a toy Yorkie who is just, I understand the whole bark thing, but again, if you
It's whining.
train your
He whines.
if you train your see, now I'm trying to say, if you train your I'm about to say, if you train your children the way you train a dog, Lord have
It is
mercy.
training. It is training. And Lord is right, because the Bible says that. Train up a child. Let me ask you something. Is it not training?
No, you are right. It
Yes.
is training, but it's like,
Yes.
why do some parents, I guess, why do some parents, though, when you, and Shelby, I do see you, why do some parents who, like Good just said, you just stick a pacifier in their mouth, and then when they get older, it's like, well, here's the cell phone. Go and do this. Go play a game. And for me, I was never like that. It was like, I always made sure that he was reading a book. He always liked to color, so I always made sure that he was doing something creative, whatever. It's like, he didn't have time to whine. Now, did he cry? And whatever. Yes, he did cry, but his cries were not whine. He cried, if he got hurt, or something like that. But to have a whiny child, And
whiny is different, yes.
Whiny is different. And I even look at how some people, now here I go again, comparing a child to a dog. But I even look at how some people are with their dogs, whatever. And I'm like, why is your dog, your dog doesn't have to do that. I'm sure your dogs or whatever, and people come over my house, they're like, oh my gosh, I can literally put a plate of meat in front of my dogs and leave it there for an hour. They won't touch it until I tell them to. They know what rooms they can. My dogs are not allowed in the kitchen. They will come right up to that threshold.
Yes.
Where it's like, they know. And that's what you have to, for me, that's what you have to do with children, because
do to your child. It's the same thing.
People
are going to spend hundreds of dollars on their dog, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, but they'll go and spend all this money on their dog, take them to go training and all that. But the children right there, and they'll just kind of forget about them. I'm like, they need the same kind of guidance. They need you to say no. They need you to say, this is how it is.
Yeah,
I'm still giving you choices. I'm still giving you options and choices, because they still need to feel that, but it's gonna be in my realm, though. It's gonna be what I give you to choose from. Until I feel like you're responsible enough to make better choices on your own. Because and when I get to that point of trusting you with that, because I've trained you and I know which way you're gonna go, even when I quote unquote release you in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I know you're gonna make the right choices. You know what I'm saying? So but it's the same thing.
It is.
And,
it is.
It's the same thing.
So good. Hold on. Let me go to Shelby. Shelby, you have been patiently waiting. Thank you. Welcome.
You're welcome. I want to say something about
Shelby.
The pacifier thing. Hello. My oldest daughter, we did give a pacifier to, and it was not for the fact. It wasn't because she was whiny. She was never a whiny child, but we ended up having to take that pacifier away from her because she was getting ear infections, and that's what made her whiny.
Okay. But again, I'm not talking about if your child is sick or hurt or something like that. I'm talking about, basically, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm just talking about if your child is just a straight up brat.
Now, can I say something? I'm sorry,
No, wait,
Shelby.
wait, wait,
I
wait,
just
wait,
hate
wait,
to
wait,
jump
wait,
in.
wait, 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 wait. Good. Hold on. I'm talking about if your child is just a straight, and Shelby, I'm not saying that your daughter wasn't or was. I'm just saying that if your child is a straight up brat, and I guess that's what I'm talking about. Those are the kids that whine. Those are the kids that whine who are just straight up brats. Okay. Good.
Like in the grocery store. Y'all know y'all been in the
Yes.
grocery
Yes.
store and you like you're on the
Yes.
other aisle.
Yes.
You hear them all the way through the store. And like
Yes.
Walmart's big, but you hear them on
Yes.
the other side of Walmart,
Yes.
and mom's just like you can see it in mom's face, like I am so embarrassed, but I'm like, and the child just throwing a tantrum and
But
just
good,
oh.
but see, but that's what I'm saying. But you're not the parent is not supposed to be embarrassed. I mean, literally, when we were growing up and we went into the store before we even got out of the car, my mother would tell
Before we got out of the
before we got
car.
out of the car, my mother would tell my
Yep.
sister and I we're about to go into the store. And you know how you better behave, whatever. And we knew we weren't one of those kids that are being dragged through the store. I mean, seriously, and you see those people, and Good brought up a perfect point. The grocery store. Seriously? I mean, come on.
Man,
We
yeah,
got the talk. Don't touch nothing. Don't look at nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing.
Don't do that. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, with being like I guess I could say fair. Okay, they're kids. I get it. They're gonna like they see they're gonna want a toy. They see they're supposed to like toys. They're supposed to like these things. Kids see it because their eyes are bigger than their stomach or whatever the case may be. I get that. I get it, but it's up to us to be like, okay, look. Still, like you said, we had them pep talks. But again, it all goes back to the parents and how they prepare their children's minds for things when we go in the store, blah blah blah, or whatever. But we have to prepare them for these things, and that just goes even into adulthood. It's like you can't have everything you see. It's that talk, and that goes all. Like I said, it goes all the way into adulthood. I mean, for instance. Dang, man, she look good. Good. You can't have everything you see. You know what I'm saying? That goes further than just being in the store looking at candy.
But you know
These
what though?
lessons.
But
Go ahead.
okay, good. But okay, hold on, because I just want to catch up on some of these comments. Okay, Sean says you got the talk. Brina says that pep talk is important. Sean says right. Brina game plan. Brina's always laughing there. And Brina says those food stores know what they're doing by putting the candy up front. I do. No, Brina laughs all the time. She laughs through every show.
I know.
So let's see. Those food stores know what they're doing by putting the candy up front. Brina, I want to come back to that. Minnesota says if you guys ever hang out with Solid, you'll take rules home with you.
Yes, come back to the candy up front. Please come back to that.
Hold on, good. Hold on. Brina says Minnesota. I believe that I want to learn. Hey, shy lady, welcome, and hey, shorty. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. Okay. So Brina, whether or not the candy is sitting right outside before you even go through the double doors, even if the candy is sitting right there, even if you have a drive-through candy and the candy's free, that does not mean that you should touch it. That does not mean that you have to whine, and that does not mean that you allow your kids to do whatever. They can put candy up front, Santa Claus can be up front, the Easter Bunny, whatever. It is still you as a parent who decides how your child is going to behave once they get into that store. So
that is so good. But I'm gonna tell you how these businesses do this. Oh, they call it an impulse buy.
I understand that.
Oh, hold on, I'm getting there. So you gotta understand this business. They do research and they do surveys and they do these things, and so they figure out. Because I'm not a business professor, but I've been to school for business, so I understand how this works. So they say, I don't know the percentage, but they say this percentage of people will buy candy with children if we put it here because they know most kids are whiny and their parents are going to buy it right then and there to shut them up. That is a business strategy, and I know that to be a fact. It's also an impulse buy for that reason, and also for people like me who just love sweets. So, and I'm not thinking about, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Good. Okay, but let me put it like this. Hey, Mr. B and Woody, welcome. Okay, so I'll put it like this. I don't care if you do put that candy up front. If I don't want my kid to have it, the answer is still no. Just like, you go to a toy store, they have certain toys, down at the bottom and all that other stuff. But, that still does not, put it like this. I don't think that there's ever an excuse to have a whiny child. I'm sorry. I just don't. Shy lady, hold on. I miss you there. Okay, so I'm going to go to Shelby, and we're going to have to go into the rule thing now. That you've never been on my show, but I'm getting people up on the panel, so we got to take turns here. So, Shelby, go ahead, and then I'm going to have Shy Lady.
I want to say that I hate going into Walmart for the simple fact that there are kids whining all the time. I cannot stand a whiny kid, solid. You go to eat and there's whiny kids. When I go out to eat, I want peace and quiet. I don't know. When I go shopping, I want peace and quiet. That's why I went shopping without my kids when they were little. It's because I want peace and quiet. My kids didn't whine, but it was mama, 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 mama,
Okay, Shelby,
But
I want to come back to the when you go out to eat part.
okay.
All right. So I don't know if you remember when we had this, when Chill was on, and we were going back and forth, and Chill said, Shy Lady, I know you're, I am coming to you. And Chill said, if you go into certain places, I think Mr. B said this too. If you go into certain places, is there an expectation that you're not going to get peace and quiet? Meaning, if you go into a 5-star restaurant, as opposed to going into McDonald's, is there a level of expectation that you should be able to have peace and quiet when you eat? That there will be kids running around.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did have that expectation, but when you go into a like a date night restaurant, you shouldn't have that.
Okay, but then you got to tell the other couple who's sitting next to you not to bring their kids to their date night.
Right. Now I could see when you're going to a restaurant that's got like dispenser napkins,
Okay.
But when you go to a restaurant that has cloth napkins,
so let me ask this. So let's say you do go to McDonald's and there's the Playland or Burger King or Chuck E. Cheese or something like that. Shouldn't you have an expectation though that the person next to you with their kids, that they're not whining, that they're not running around yelling, screaming to ruin your meal? Like, shouldn't parents still kind of rein their kids in?
yes, I believe they should do
See,
that.
I
Yeah.
believe the same thing. Yes, good, Chill will. Okay, let me go on to Shy Lady. Hey, welcome and thanks for waiting patiently.
Hey,
Hello.
how's everybody? Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. I wanted to say that a couple of things. It depends on the parent because some parents don't care. When I go on an airplane, I don't expect a kid to be whining and screaming and all of that. So that's not even a restaurant. It's like you need to control your kids. But I was laughing because I was thinking about I was in church on Sunday and a pastor was talking about his mom and how strict she was. He said that she walked around with a switch and she used to tell the kids, anytime you want to act a fool, I'm right here with you to act a fool with you. And I was dying as so many other people. And he was like, she didn't play. You want to act a fool? I'll act a fool with you. So it just depends on the parent. Some parents know no matter what's in that checkout aisle, The answer is no. Don't even look. Don't even look at me to like. Can There's some parents who told their kids, don't you're not even, I'm taking you to the store, but don't even ask. So and I was one of those kind of parents. I got them whatever they usually wanted within reason, but it was like, if they were good or whatever, but you're not going to get that every time we go out. You've got to understand that this is not a given every time we go out. And I do understand what the gentleman said earlier. There's all kind of market strategy, people that come up with this big data stuff, and they know consumer buying. And so, yeah, that's all true. It's all design. So definitely true. But there are those parents who are like, I don't care what you ask for. You're not getting it. So don't even bother. And if you whine, I'll whine. I'll get right down there with you. If you whine. So I totally get it.
Okay. All right. Good. You have the mic?
Yeah, that is all good. When she said that airplane, man, I just thought about that movie. I forgot the name of it. The boy kept kicking the back of the seat, and that man, he was like already nervous and scared, and then the baby was crying over here, and man, like that's one of those places. Like, man, not now, not here. I'm not on the airplane. Please be quiet. And then she said church. Now that's a whole look, man. Woo! I mean, a lot of churches have nurseries for that reason. Because when your child's whining, a lot of people want to hear the message. They want to hear the singing. They want to hear the sermon being preached. And then when you got a whiny child, and it doesn't, and not even that, just when they're crying, it just my preach used to say, look, before church even start, during the announcement part, they say, hey, look. We have nurseries. If you need to tend to your child, or if they get a little unsettled or a little restless, take them in the back in the nurseries. That way, you're being respectful to everyone that's here that wants to be able to hear the sermon and everything. We have speakers in the nurseries, so you can still hear the sermon. So for that very reason, because yeah, man, though, man, they get whiny and start crying and everything. It is kind of irritating. So, but yeah, and I'll be quiet. Shelby, and I did say that during my 5 minutes of silence. I said, now, as far as the pacifier, I was like, um, I know there could be some instances where it's maybe medical, or it could be something that's just not due to the child, like that may play a part in the whining. But I said I know it could be other reasons why that child has a pacifier and they're older, but. But for me, when there's nothing wrong and your child's 4 and 5 and they still have a pacifier or even a bottle, and
Hello.
I'm like, yeah, yeah. So I was like, but no judgment, but kind of, yeah, I'm judging. Like, what is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So, but I get it. There's different circumstances, different instances. So.
Okay. Well, let me read some of these comments before I get behind. Let's see. Rena says, I'm guilty of getting candy at the checkout all the time. Just. Woody Bush says, in my experience, to Shy Lady, in my experience, if you're one of those kind of parents that doesn't give in or take crap from their kids not likely going to be one crying and whining at the counter for candy or whatever junk they want. But I'm still a young parent, so what do I know? No, I mean, Woody, you're right. And then Woody says, and I think it's tough on an airplane. I feel like you probably, as a parent, can tell the difference between an a-hole kid being an a-hole kid and a kid who's been on a plane for 5 hours and he's just bored. That is true. Rena says, my church had a kids center. Minnesota says, don't get solid talking about airplanes. Woody says, curious from all parents, split age is an ideal age to get rid of a pacifier. What age? Okay, what age? Okay, Woody, like I said, I was not a pacifier parent. I did not believe in pacifiers. My child never got them. I think for my baby shower, I think I got like 7 pacifiers from the baby showers that I had, and I gave them away. I think that if you can get rid of that pacifier as soon as possible, well, then you should, or as some people call it, which I cannot stand, look at the binky. Oh, anyway, I cannot stand that. But anyway, I just think that you know, and then good says when they get teeth. My opinion. Everybody has their opinion. I'd say don't give the kid a pacifier in the first place. And Brina says good airplane story, Salad. Brina, if I told you how I feel about airplanes, you all are going to think y'all already think this anyway, but you all are going to really think that I am a super snob when it comes to airplanes. So I have my own views about airplanes, and yeah. So, oh, and Minnesota says snob. Shelby says snob. Oh, Shy Lady, I'm going to jump over Shelby, and I'm going to see. Shelby says, when they get teeth, is a good idea. If you must give your kid one, my kids would never allow them in their mouths. Shelby, I'm going to come back to you. I am going to come back to you, but I'm going to go to Shy Lady for a moment. Shy Lady, do you want to tell everyone how I feel about airplanes? Where it doesn't come out where I'm such a snob.
I mean, she thinks of them like the plague, and I don't blame her. I do not blame her, because I had to sit from Dallas to Chicago, going home to visit family, with this man who smelled like he had been bathing in a barrel of onions. So I totally understand why she feels that way. If you ever had to sit next to someone that smells for more than an hour, 2.5 hours, it's unbearable. So even though Solid is my friend, I'm not agreeing with her because she's my friend, but I totally understand where she comes from, because I have had to sit next to people that smell, and it's not pleasant.
No.
Or someone very overweight. And you sitting in the middle seat. Oh, OMG. That's all I can say.
You know, and I will say that when I fly first class, and I only if it's not a Dreamliner. I fly United. If it's not a Dreamliner, I will not go. And for anyone who's not familiar with the Dreamliner, those are the planes where you're in your own little cocoon. You are not sitting next to anyone. The seats go all the way back. You have you're like in your own little shell. And I don't have to, and I hear commotion that's going on, you know, in the back of the plane. And I just got to the point where I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm moving up front, and I am willing to pay the money to do it. So when I fly, that is what I do. So, Shelby, and then Woody, I will come to you. Shelby.
I told you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry that I skipped you, but I had to ask Shy Lady a question. So go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I got in trouble the other day for skipping somebody. So go ahead.
Oh no. Well, you know, there's always that. Well, anyway. I wanted to answer the person about the pacifier though in the chats. We had to take our oldest daughter's pacifier away because of the ear infections, and they were reading. I think she was about 9 months when we took it away.
Okay.
So I think she was almost a year. She was about to get tubes, and we just went ahead and took it away.
Okay. All right.
So, but I just want to say that, you know, some kids will be kids, but I have a story to tell about whiners. I was 5 and I was getting my tonsils taken out, and I can remember this, but I remember, you know, back then they used to line you up in hallways and close to the operating rooms, and I couldn't even stand whiny kids then. And there was this one child, oh bless her heart, she was just a boo-hooing and crying and whining everything. And I just yelled across the hallway. You could see her, and I just yelled across the hallway, will you please stop crying? You're just getting your tonsils out. It's not like you need the bleep things anyway. My mama just looked at me and started laughing.
Well, again, I think whiny children grow up to be whiny or whiny and complaining adults. Woody, I'm coming to you now. Thank you for waiting patiently.
It's okay. I know how you run. It's funny because I've never flown. I flew business class once, and it was nothing special years and years ago. But when we went home to visit my family for the first time with my daughter, my grandparents bought us tickets, first class, to fly with her, and it was 2 big seats in bulkhead, like at the front of the row. So me and my fiance and the baby in these like 2 big first class seats. And it's funny when you walk in there and everybody was kind of like in first class was looking at us with the kid, right? And like, oh fuck, here we go, kind of thing. Starting. And I'm of the same mindset. I cannot stand whiny kids, even my own. It doesn't matter. She doesn't whine, or if she does, it's not for very long about something unless it's justified. But she was amazing, and honestly it was the best experience. And now the problem is, though, I don't think I could fly any other way. Like, I'm not in a position that I could ever afford to fly first class just to go home and see family. But I don't think I could fly in economy with my kid. And so I know the feeling. I don't blame you in the least.
And Woody, the first time that I flew home, when I think my son was 8 months, and I flew back home to Chicago to visit my parents, and we were in first class, and like you, I'm sitting down, and I always get the aisle seat, and I'm sitting down, and this man is looking at me like, oh my God, here's this woman with this baby, whatever. And I told him, I said, don't worry, he's not going to be a problem. He's like, yeah, that's what they all said. But I have flown so many times with my son. He was not an issue. Never was. My son never cried. He just wasn't that kid. And I knew what he was going to do. I knew what he needed before anything happened. And when we got off the plane, the guy was like, I'm so sorry. Your son is the, nicest, quietest child that I have ever flown with. And, but again, I have been there. I have seen, I have been, when I used to fly coach, people would come in with their kids, and I'm saying to myself, please don't sit next to me. Please don't sit next to me. Please don't sit. And then you have that sigh of relief that when the person keeps going and they're not sitting next to you. But again, I think that you have people who raise whiny kids and you have people that don't. And again, I want to ask the entire panel, now that we've talked about the children, Woody, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that whiny children grow up to be whiny adults?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And whiny kids are created by their parents, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to good. Do you think that whiny children become whiny or complaining adults?
Yes, I do. I do. And I was sitting here trying to think, well, I do, but I'm not gonna. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Why are they whining? Where's it coming from? They probably want something, it starts, they've been wanting something, they're whining. And I'm like, I know some adults like that. Like, even if they can't get what they want, they just finna lose it. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna do some crazy stuff, and then they're just
or they just get an attitude, and that's
attitude.
Yes,
that's what I'm.
Yes.
This is the picture I'm getting, and I know people like this. They literally look like a 2-year-old when they do it. They'll cross their arms like go,
Yes.
huh.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I know adults that do that, and I'm like, okay, all right, So yes, I do believe they have that same attitude when they get older. Yes, they do. It just looks different, but it's
You
the
know
same
what?
thing.
I don't think it looks
I mean,
that different. Be perfectly honest with
okay,
you. I
that
mean,
sounds better.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't think that it looks that different, and it's like when
Yeah.
I know people that are like that, and I don't even bother with it. It's like, you know what, you go ahead and you pout or do whatever. I don't have time for it. And I don't.
Pout.
It's exhausting, and again, who has time for it? And let's see, let me Shelby, I'm coming to you. Charlie says same with mine. They used to get compliments at fine dining restaurants and airplanes. Let's see. Minnesota says, I hear you sound a few times I've flown first class. Big difference. Okay. Shelby.
Yeah.
You want to add anything?
I think that yes, I think that in the case of whiny children, they are whiny adults. But my youngest was not a whiny child, and she's a complaining adult.
So why do you think that is?
She's one in a million, I tell you. That's for another show.
So let me ask this, Shelby, since again, I know you have two daughters. Do you think that it's possible for, and we talked about this before on another show, that you have raised these two girls the same? One of them comes out to be a complainer as an adult, and the other one doesn't. Just like,
Right.
So why do you think that one daughter did and the other daughter didn't?
I'm going to tell you why. The youngest one is spoiled, and my oldest daughter is not.
I'm sorry, that the youngest one is spoiled. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's by you and your husband?
My husband.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Not by me. Not by no means.
Do you think that
that's a good point?
Do you think that will ever come back to haunt your daughter or haunt your husband later?
It will haunt me.
Well, no, I know. I'm saying, do you think, because see, I think that people who, and I don't know how spoiled your daughter is or how much of a complainer they are, but I do believe that people like that, if they keep doing it, they're going to do it to the wrong person one day, and then that person is not going to treat them favorably.
Oh, she does everything for her daddy.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But ask her something. Oh, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
You don't need that.
Okay.
I'm not doing this.
Okay. I am going to move over to Shy Lady. Miss Shy Lady, you have any words you want to add?
Yeah, I want to say that unfortunately, when kids are spoiled and they grow into adulthood, sometimes they still take that with them. And unfortunately, I've had some people who I perceive that they were spoiled in their adult life that I had to work with, and it's not a good thing.
No, it isn't.
It's not a good thing, unfortunately. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
No, and Charlie brings up a good point. Working with a coworker who is spoiled, and that this person is spoiled, and they're whiny and they complain, and this is your coworker. This is someone that you have to see, every day when you go to work, Monday through Friday or whatever your hours are. That's hard, and it's like, would you shut the up? Just would you stop? So yeah. Woody, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. What was
Okay.
the question?
No, so what do you think about, have you ever worked with a coworker or anyone who is spoiled and
Oh yeah.
and a-hole because they are spoiled, or a complainer, whatever?
Yeah, I have a very close relationship to that question. The last employer that I worked for, I'm self-employed now after that, but I met my fiance. She works for him as well currently still, and he has two sons, both of whom were extremely spoiled and are middle-aged men who have debit cards that still go to their parents' shared bank account, so they've never had to worry about money in their life. And he is the owner's a very chauvinistic asshole and underpays everybody that works for him. And yeah, like have it when his kid finished college and he brought him on to work for him and bought him $1 million house and spent probably $150,000 renovating this house and had us doing all this work for him, and the kids got absolutely no appreciation for anything. And here we are busting our ass for just trying to get by basically, and you've got you're working for people like this. It's really difficult. And I don't know, I grew up, my parents took very good care of us, but once I moved away at 18, I was on my own and I've worked for everything I have. So it's a tough thing, right? Like, and I have a daughter, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I want to give her everything I can, but also I'll never spoil her to the point. Like, kids don't understand working for things anymore. It's sad, and it's not. It is actually sad, and it's going to affect generations of people as adults that are going to get in the real world and not have a fucking clue what hit them and not know what to do and not know how to be an adult and get a job and do things to survive properly. And most of it is everybody else's fault, but that's all I got. Yeah.
No, I mean, no, you have brought up some very good points. And Brina says, I have a coworker on my team right now that complains about every email that comes through. It's so annoying. Let's see. Good says, preach. And Brina says, that's tough to swallow to watch people so unappreciative. Brina, I'm going to tell you, if that was my coworker, I just tell them to shut up. Just be quiet. I would. I just have to come out, and I just come out and I just tell people. And if I'm annoying to people, I want people to tell me the same thing. But no, and then you say I just ignore her, whenever possible. Yeah, you can ignore, but sometimes, Brina, is like that ignoring that just doesn't work anymore. You just got to turn around and just say, shut up already. So Brittany, you know what I'm talking about. Charlotte says, I know what Woody is talking about. I know someone with a family-owned business, and the adult kids of the owners are awful. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. So I'm going to go around the room for last comments. So Good, you have any last comments you want to make?
Yeah, y'all just reminded me of the movie. Y'all know Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where the girl, what's her name?
Yes.
Baruka.
Yes.
That name just sounds Baruka. Like, she sounds like she's gonna be a hard time. So, and then you remember the other little girl, she was like, shut it, you twit. Because she got tired of her complaining all the time. So that's how I see a lot of people, adults too. So in conclusion, in resolution, what we should do is, you may have started your child like that, but it's never too late. Just start now. Just start training them now. It's never too late. So
I don't know about that never too late thing, but okay. All right.
Well, I mean, if they're still young enough.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Let's see. Typho says, can we discuss the difference in spoiling versus engraving interest? My oldest is 9 and loves learning. I bought him a microscope. I don't think that's spoiling. No. I mean, no. No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that. I don't think that's spoiling at all. You know, you're talking about loving learning. You know, you're getting them a microscope. You know, you're buying them if they like. You know, photos and stuff, you buy them photo tools and things like that. No, I don't think that's whatever. I'm talking about kids that are brats type. I'm talking about kids that are brats. So Shelby, never mind, we're ending out, sorry, not a problem if they earn it and can appreciate it. Okay, so Shelby, you want to address what Typho said? You know,
Yes, there's a big difference in
mhm.
spoiling and getting something for educational purposes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I believe in getting a microscope is for an educational purpose.
And even if it wasn't for educational purposes, I mean, even if it was just for fun, I mean, if your kid is, I mean, to me, if your kid is a nice kid and you know, and they think it's fun and they want to learn how to use it, whatever, I say by all means getting it. I'm not saying that you should never ever, you know, if your kid wants to learn how to do this, or even if they just like it, I have no problem with giving kids things. I'm talking about kids that are brats. And I think
Yeah,
people,
I agree.
and there's a difference between a bratty kid and a non bratty kid.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
I
so
agree.
so go ahead, good, and then I'm gonna go to
Okay.
Woody. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
mean there's such a big difference. It's like you got a kid, like you get them something like, well, I don't want that anymore. Now they have a new color out, and I want that one now. You know what I'm saying? It's that, like, again, like the little girl. She's like, Daddy, I want a pony. Well, we just got you a pony. Well, I don't want that pony now. That was just, it's kind of like that. To me, like the difference between like spoiling and like that's the attitude like a spoiled child would have, rather than versus like you said, you getting the microscope and all that. Like that's their interest and they love
Right.
it and they
Right.
appreciate it, and like that's the difference to me.
Right. Right. So Typho, if you want to pop on before we sign off, if you want to make any comments, I mean, because and then good makes a good point, because that's just like the person who is okay. So the iPhone just came out, and then they came out with another one. It's like those kids who always have to have the latest whatever. You know, it's like, well, no, your phone still works. You know, um, Typho, if you want to come up, if you want to come up, you're more than welcome. I'll let you say whatever you want to say, because we're actually talking about it now. So if you want to come up, you're more than welcome. Um, Woody, you want to make any comments about anything? Any last comments?
Sorry, I broke up. Is my turn?
Yeah. Do you want to make any last comments or anything? Thank you, good for popping in.
I agree with Good, and I think it's all about the difference between just giving your kids everything and teaching them the value of earning things too, right? Like I don't, I'll like my daughter's only 2, but I mean even we've already started. Like you don't just get everything you want. You can't just have that because you want it. It doesn't matter what it is. That's life. And then once they get older, like teaching them to actually work for things. Okay, well, if you want the new iPhone and it's $500, then go make $300 and I'll put $200 towards it at least, as opposed to, you know, giving them everything. And then, like I said, you're not doing them any favors by setting them up for life that way.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone.
Good show. Thanks.
Well, no, Woody, thank you for coming up, and thank you for being patient. Shelby, thank you for being patient and for popping up. And Shy Lady and the good, the bad, and the ugly truth were here. So, everyone, thank you so much for coming. Today is Thursday, which is my Friday. I know y'all got to get tired of hearing me say that. I will be back on Monday. So, Power Girl Typo, Chelsea, Minnesota, Brina, Blunt Ninja, DMAC, Frankie, Daddy Hoff. I know I always know that I'm missing someone. Thank you all for popping on. I do appreciate it. And y'all get rid of those pacifiers. Get rid of those pacifiers. All right. So I don't know if you guys have heard this one before. I need to add some more music to my repertoire. And again, you guys, I am posting last Thursday show for 24 hours only. So if you want to hear DJ Carmen Camille, you want to hear the show again, I am going to post it after 5 o'clock this evening Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to post it and take it down after 24 hours because Podbean will probably take it down anyway because of copyright issues. So I'm going to leave you guys with, have you all heard Soul Story? I don't know if you all have heard this one. So enjoy the rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world, and go where the wind takes you. Bye. Use that one. I'm going to do And Rennie, you said your son was a thumb sucker till he was 1.5 years. I'm glad he's not anymore. And that's it, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, weekend, and remember, 24 hours only for DJ Karma Camille. I will post it 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for 24 hours only. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.